not quite on the trail today. In fact, just sitting in a bus stop on Ohaupo Road. We've just finished a long, flat, boring as run along Collins Road. It's mighty long. And I know this year is meant to be about long, flat trails so that we can take in God's love, but I'd rather be on a mountaintop today. In fact, it was meant to be on the top of Mount Mungatautari. But at 1 a.m. this morning, my wife woke me up and she said to me, "There's a big storm going on, you should turn your alarm off. I don't think it would be wise for you to run on the mountain." So who knows what adventure or maybe tragedy was diverted by Lorraine's wisdom. So I turned the alarm off and went back to sleep, and have ended up just doing a pretty normal, ordinary kind of a run around the west side of Hamilton. Hey, but it gets me thinking, that 1 a.m. wake up, about a story I heard last week. I was at conference last week, Thrive Conference, and a friend of mine, Jonathan Dove, was speaking about the providence of God from the book of Esther. And if you haven't read that book lately or heard that story, know it, I'd suggest that you read it, because some of the things I'm going to say won't make sense unless you know the story. But Esther and Mordecai are the heroes in the story. They are true heroes in Jewish story, because through them the Jewish people in Persia were saved. And it's an amazing story. At one point, Uncle Mordecai to his niece Esther, who's the queen, says that the reason she might be in power at this time is for such a time as this. It could be possible that that right at this time is the time that she's on the throne for, and that God's going to use her in an amazing way. And the writer in Hebrews telling us a story in a special way. And the way it's framed is that there's a phrase in the middle of the story, and it's not the phrase "for such a time as this." It's another phrase that the whole story turns on, and it's this phrase, that the king could not sleep. As a result of the king not being able to sleep, he had a servant read him one of his journals. And as he had the journal read to him, he discovered that there was this guy called Mordecai who had once saved his life but never been rewarded. And as a result of that, the next day he rewards Mordecai, and the whole story turns, and the future and safety of the Jews in Persia turns on that little phrase, the king could not sleep. And I was thinking about this year, that as we're looking for love, sometimes we're looking for it in the big things, in the sovereignty of God stuff, those big moments. I think of, like, for me recently with Octaves and seeing him reunite with his family, it was a big deal. I saw God's love all over that. I saw his sovereignty in that. It was incredible. But there was a lot of little things that happened along the way that created that. And these things are providential. They are still the hand of God, but they're things like the king could not sleep. And I'm just wondering whether, as I talk to different leaders and as we have leadership meetings and we talk about, hey, where are you seeing God's love right now? How are you experiencing God's love? It feels like we're all looking for big stuff, for the sovereign hand of God stuff, not realizing the providence of God in the small things. And I would suggest that you begin to just look and see what God is doing each day in your life, and realize He loves you greatly, deeply, and loves others around you, and He's doing things every day that are changing history. Maybe this week God is loving you and loving those around you in some small little ways that might in fact be turning some quite big things. Have your eyes open to see it. And I just join with Paul in praying for you that, Lord, just for the leaders of CBC, along with all the holy saints, would you help them to grasp hold of the many dimensions of your love, and to know and experience your love that's just beyond knowledge. We know you can do that. Amen.